Okay, we are recording. Welcome everybody to our Monday masterclass. I'm really excited about this one, and I know Amy is too, because we are kicking off. We've been kind of leading up to our Rank Makers group, where we're gonna focus the next 90 days on really honing in on some business, just almost prescriptions for your business. Lots of great business info, lots of great just keys that you guys can do on a monthly basis, some strategies, words to use, just some actions to do, challenges, that sort of thing, and a lot of training. So that group, if you guys are not in it, it's the Rank Makers group. It's posted in Amy's team page. It's posted in my team page. It's posted in Amanda's team page. I see her on here as well. And so definitely check those out, or that out, and get yourself in there. We're not allowing anybody to get in there that has not asked to join themselves, because we want to make sure that everybody is in there that wants to be in there, not against their will. So we're excited to be kicking that off. September has been a really big lead up on the mindset side of all of this, and this being the last day of the month, we thought recruiting would be good. A lot of you guys are finishing out the month really strong, making sure you get those pumpkin spice twin pack orders in, your PB in, so you can get your CBD, and closing out the month with the 369 as well. So all that housekeeping to say, today we are kicking off a recruiting masterclass, and we're gonna try and keep this short, simple, and to the point. But before we get started, I'm gonna actually start sharing my screen. Before we get started, I wanted to just kind of give you guys a little bit of background on me, because many of you guys might not realize, but I come from a corporate recruiting background. I used to work at a bunch of different companies. My career previous to Plexus was in sales and recruiting. So what I did was I worked at a IT staffing company, and multiple ones of those, but my job was sales and recruiting. So I have been on both the sales side, which is the interfacing side to our clients, figuring out their job needs, helping them source staff members, but where my career started out was actually the recruiting side, providing candidates for jobs and keeping kind of a book of candidates that were sussed out and were ready to go for those jobs. I say all that because that is where I got my recruiting training, and that's what the call is all about tonight. So when I was in recruiting, obviously we went through a lot of rigorous training with that. And what it was is it truly is, there's so much synergy between Plexus and my old recruiting job. We were tasked with providing solutions to current situations that we could fulfill with one of our clients' job openings. So I would sit down. What I mean by solutions to current situations, I mean the person that I was speaking to on the other end of the phone, it was a really unique dynamic, because not only were they our commodity that we were providing candidates for hiring managers to interview to potentially fulfill jobs, but we were also a solution provider to the human being that we were talking to on the other end of the phone. And so for that to work, we truly had to get to know these strangers, and we had to interview them. We had to figure out kind of what makes them tick, and chances are we didn't know any of these people. They were all complete strangers to us. And so we had to go through, and we had to become an expert at providing solutions to both of our client as well as the person that we were talking to on the other end of the phone. So we would ask lots of things, but we would always start out by having them list out their ideal life goals, talk to them about what they want out of life and how they could be fulfilled in their career, but also in their family life. We wanted to get to know what motivated them, what made them tick, the types of things that they were unhappy with their current job situation, what their ideal job would be, what their goals are over the course of their career, why they were interested in making a change. You guys kind of follow me? This is super similar to the way that we sit down and we talk and we provide solutions to our clients and our potential people that are going to be using our company. So basically we needed to truly get to know a total stranger. And then when we had job openings come open, then we would come back to them and we would provide them a solution to what their list of needs was from day one. And so it truly was about just finding a solution to different pain points that they are dealing with in their life. And that's the same thing that we do with our products. It's the same thing we do with our company and the job opportunity that we have with Plexus. And so it is critically important that we approach this business from the mindset of impact and from that mindset of really truly getting to know the people that we are talking to and providing a solution for the pain points that they are going through in their life at each and every moment. So it's going to be pain points from finances. It's going to be pain points from energy, from not being able to sleep, from their mood, whatever that looks like. But then you're also going to be able to fulfill needs that maybe are a little bit more intangible. And we're going to talk about that. Lots of social stuff, especially for stay-at-home moms, career dads. Lots of things like that might not be the reason that they initially reach out to you, but the more that you get to know them, the more questions that you ask, the more solution that you can provide through how you talk about this opportunity and how you talk about these products. So to get started, I want to first talk about mindset, because we know mindset eats strategy for lunch every single day of the week. It is so important that we come into this and approach it with the proper mindset. So confidence is key. Confidence in what you're offering, confidence in the Plexus is providing a wonderful financial opportunity and providing wonderful products as well. People respond to energies. Energies are contagious. If you are in the valley of despair and you really don't care about growing your business and you're super resentful to it and you're not too excited about it, that energy is going to be caught by the person that you're talking to. Alternatively, the energy that you bring, if you are excited, if you know that this is going to be the solution that completely changes your friend's life, that is a very different conversation and a very different vibe that they're going to feel. Even if you're talking on the phone, over the internet, your posts, it trickles out through everything. And so tackling that confidence and tackling that energy, I'll never forget a conversation I had with Amanda Grubb, who's on this call as well. She came to me, she was very brand new in this business, and she came to me and she said, oh my gosh, she's like, Sarah, I just had my very own sister go off on me and tell me I was an embarrassment to the family for doing network marketing. And she was just crushed. But she said, you know what my knee jerk was to say, and it was brilliant and it's still true, is that I'll stop sharing Plexus when I stop helping people. You guys, that is the bottom line. It's impact. Your confidence in the fact that you are doing the right thing for everybody by providing them these health solutions for long-term life change, not just short-term weight loss, long-term preventative health care, that we can impact them over the course of their lives. But not only that, a long-term plan B, a secondary source of income, all those types of things. You'll stop sharing when you stop helping people. That is just one of those, that keys, that backbone of confidence when you have that just horrible day, is you can kind of rest back on what's happening and what your main purpose is in this business. You've got to kind of keep that purpose of impact at the front and center and core of everything that you do within Plexus. And we always say, it's on the screen as well, but it truly is about the impact that you're providing to the person. It's not about the sale. So yes, we are not hiding the fact that we are in a sales position. This is a sales job. There has to be that aspect of sales. If you're not bringing in new customers, you're not bringing in new ambassadors, your business is probably not going to go forward, right? But if you are approaching it like a used car salesman and approaching it about the what's in it for you, what's in it for me, how much commission am I going to make off this person? Is this person worth XYZ, or what potential does this person have? You guys, you can grow a team of normal people, a whole diamond team of just normal people, not influencers, not doctors, not nurses, not brilliant marketing professionals and all those types of things. It truly is, this is built with the normal everyday person. So that's another thing that we want to kind of, wrap your head around throughout this call, is that you don't have to find the most amazing rock star of a person, because what's going to take you to diamond, what's going to take you through this business, is impacting the everyday person and changing their life. They're never going to leave you if you are changing their life and you're providing a solution to something that's happening within their life. And we've got to stop trying to have that sales conversation, convincing people of the need for Plexus. We need to understand what their need is first, and then back it up by providing a solution. So I hope that kind of makes sense. I put one of my favorite quotes down below, that pursuing a life of impact means accepting a journey of criticism. To change 100 lives, you're going to upset 10 people. So many times we slow down because of the 10 at the expense of the 100. Train your focus to the impact, and your worry of the critic withers away. Absolutely love just that thought process. We are in this for impact and above all the other things. All right, Amy, you want to take that away?
Hey guys, I am up. Okay, so I have noticed, you're probably thinking, well, wait a minute, what does marketing have to do with recruiting? But when I am in a recruiting slump, or if you're just starting out, maybe you're new on the call, marketing is huge in terms of recruiting. Now, it doesn't mean all you do is post and hope, right? We're going to talk later about how to talk to people, how to reach out to people. But when I'm in a recruiting slump, it's usually one of two things. I'm asking the same people over and over and over and over and over, and that just gets frustrating. Or my social media sucks. Like I'm in a total social media slump. So what I want you to think about is, who is your market? Who is your market right now? And are you posting things for them? I'll give you a couple of examples. So one, when I first started out, I was still in corporate America. So that was a big piece of my market. And back then, it's like all of my friends were on the CrossFit train, right? Everyone was doing CrossFit. So I started targeting my posts and planning them out around CrossFit, talking more about CrossFit, sharing CrossFit testimonies, sharing corporate testimonies when it came to Plexus. So I was really posting for my market, right? Because it's all about the law of attraction. You get what you attract. And you've probably heard us say it before, but when it comes to attracting your people and even expanding your market, people are buying you, right? They're not buying what you're selling, because let's say you have another Plexus person in your town. What's going to get them to come to you instead of that other person, right? It's us. It's the attraction they feel to us. And if they're attracted to us and we have that influence with them, it actually doesn't matter what we're selling. Because if you think about it, how many times have you bought something you really didn't want to, or you didn't even really need it because the person was just so friendly, or you really wanted to help them out, or they were just so confident they had you believing that you need it, okay? It's a joke in our house that Steve is no longer, and this is years ago, he's never allowed to answer the door to a solicitor, because those solicitors are good and they get him to buy whatever they're selling every single time. We don't need it. I tell him before he would go to the door, you're not buying anything. And sure enough, right, because they're good and they use that attraction marketing, he would buy it. So that's what we want to talk about, right? You are selling an experience, not just products. Trust me, because have you ever been to the mall? So like on the flip side, have you ever been in the mall and that annoying kiosk person with like the makeup or the soaps, they keep like shoving the little things in you and you just like don't even want to make eye contact? Like you see them as you're walking, right? And you're like, don't look, don't look, don't look. So flipping the little perfume samples, right? We don't want to be that person. So how do you use that attraction marketing in terms of expanding your business, attracting new people? One is you need to represent your brand. And often we need to figure out what our brand is if we don't know, or we need to update it. I've had to update my brand. So if you're not sure what that means, it just means, what is it about you that makes you unique? Okay, you can think of 3 things that you love and start there. That's your brand. My brand all last year was minimizing and living an RV lifestyle. Well, guess what? That's not my brand anymore. So I have to figure out, well, what the heck am I going to post about that is my brand? And your brand, guys, is not Plexus. We absolutely want to share what Plexus has done for us, but we do that through these other things that make up our brand, right? So one, you do want to be Plexus. You want to let people see how joyous Plexus makes you, how much you love Plexus, how much it's helped you. You want them to see your passion. You want to make sure you're telling your story over and over and over. And I have fallen into this trap. I feel like everyone knows my thyroid story, so I couldn't tell you the last time I posted it on my team page, on my personal wall. But there's another Jewel who is a rock star, and you know what she does? With a different photo and a little different words, she posts her personal health testimony every month, once a month. She's retelling her story. And it's brilliant because one, I don't know that people have even seen it. I've added new friends since then, and it might take seeing my story 10 times before someone's ready to jump on board. So if I'm only sharing it once, then I'm not really getting the full effect. So think about, and you can share your story without being salesy or pushy, right? And that passion can really, really come through. You also want to be consistent in your brand and the messages you're sending. I mean, this is kind of 101 stuff, but I'm just going to say it again because one, you don't want to be smoking in your pictures, right? Like, we're a health and wellness company. You don't want to be posting pics of you like scarfing down cheeseburgers and french fries 5 days a week. Yeah, a couple times is fine, but we're a health and wellness company, guys. We got to represent the brand. And you also don't want to post about other network marketing companies because it confuses your network. Now, I support them a bunch. I give shout outs on networking pages that I'm in. So like my mascara girl and my other girl, like all the people that I buy from, I will give them shout outs on their pages. I will support them 100% in local networking groups, but you won't see me do it on my personal page because it confuses my network, right? They see me as the Plexus girl and they take me more seriously if I'm the Plexus girl. If they see me doing all these other things, well, then you're just kind of hit and miss and have your hand in a few things, right? So, so keep that in mind when it comes to supporting other networks. That's huge when it comes to our social media posting. And also, guys, positivity, right? You want to attract that, so that's what you have to put out. Now, I'm not saying don't post stuff on, like, don't make your Facebook page Pollyanna. Like, if you passionately believe in something, you can post it to your page, but don't post negativity, drama, complaining. That's not good for business. If you had a storefront and you stood outside your door and you argued with somebody, right, or you did like a passive aggressive comment to someone that walked by, no one would come in your store. It's the same thing. So your personal page now, whether you like it or not, is now your business storefront, okay? So keep in mind your brand, things you love, and post fun stuff. I have been in a rut, so I have to think, all right, what am I going to post? Luckily now it's way easier because you should only post on Facebook like twice a day, right? It used to be way back when you had to post 10 times a day and that was exhausting. Now less is more. So you don't actually have to come up with as many posts. But think about it. Go through your feed and see what you've been posting. I've done that before and I'm like, whoa, I was way too heavy on Plexus. Delete some of those. Or, oh man, I was way too heavy. There's nothing but pictures of Adelaide for like the last 15 posts. All right.
Your dogs every 5 seconds.
Right. And so sometimes I feel like if that's all people are seeing, then my profile gets stale in their feed. So keep it fun, right? It doesn't always have to be about Plexus. Especially once you've posted a few times, they know you're a Plexus ambassador. You don't always have to keep reminding them. There are so many ways that they will be attracted to what we are selling just by seeing our lifestyle and just by seeing the fun we have and how whatever we're doing and how we feel, and it's great, right? Then they know that Plexus is at the heart of that. But attraction marketing means putting yourself out there. You have to share you have to be vulnerable, and you have to be real, right? So if you are not sharing real stuff, And I've gotten in a live rut. I have not done a live. I couldn't even tell you how long. And we still know that lives are hugely successful on Facebook, and it's hugely successful to build influence with people because they get to see you live. Doesn't matter what you're talking about. You don't have to have anything fancy. You don't have to be an expert on anything. Just learn as you go. If you learned a cool recipe, film yourself making it. I saw a girlfriend the other day. She took her pumpkin spice sample that she got in Hawaii, and she just, in her PJs, she put her phone up and she made pumpkin spice pancakes. And it was a brilliant live. All of these people were watching how to make like 3-ingredient pancakes. It wasn't focused on lean or plexus. It was about 3-ingredient pancakes. So it was brilliant. So think about things that you can do to share that in terms of network your marketing on social media. Same goes with Instagram and stories. You know, we're not going to get to a social media training, but in marketing, what you put out there is what you're going to attract. So we've all been guilty of it. I've been guilty of it, but you got to stop the crappy Facebook posts, right? Like I love the graphics that corporate puts out, but they don't work well on Facebook. They work well in an email message maybe that I send to people, but they don't work well on Facebook. People are your friends first. They want to see you. In fact, I just posted a picture of myself with my 2 bottles, and I'm probably going to delete it tomorrow after the sale is over, right? So sometimes anytime there's a sale or something like that, I'll go back and I will delete it off of my post. So for an assignment tonight, what I want you guys to do, if you're comfortable doing it yourself and you can really be unbiased, like I can be unbiased on my Facebook now, but before I would have Sarah go through and be like, hey, can you look at my newsfeed and give me your honest feedback? So you can ask somebody, anybody on the team, ask your upline to give honest feedback on your Facebook. Now, you know, if you ask for that and they say something you don't like, you have to take it if you ask for honest feedback. But what you're looking for is, what does it say about you? Okay, is it well-rounded? Can I get a glimpse of what you're about on your feed? Are you someone I want to hang out with based on your news feed? That is the people you're looking to order Plexus from you, right? They're looking at you like, is that someone I want to hang out with? Is that someone I trust? Is that someone I want to buy their probiotic because they say it's so great? So have someone look at your feed. Does it make someone just scroll right past it? Does it make someone feel good? But if you feel like you're in a posting rut like I have, step back and change it up a bit, right? And then the other thing, and we talked about this on the chaos management call, which we posted the recording if you haven't seen it, but we talked about scheduling out your posts. And this has been huge for me. I used to do it in the beginning, and then I quit. Like I must have gotten too sure of myself, like I didn't need to. And I found myself getting into that slump and those stale Facebook posts, or having anxiety because it's like, oh, I got to think of a post today. So what I do, you guys have seen this. This is my weekly calendar. I fill it on Sundays. On the back, I plan out my posts for the month, and they correspond with sales or specials, right? If we have them, and they're all of my posts, Plexus and personal, and then anything else that happens on the fly in real life, I'll put in there. But if Adelaide did something cute today, which she totally did, she came home quoting The Princess Bride, like totally quoting the whole thing. I don't need a cute post tonight, though. I'm going to save that in a couple of days when I really want some good engagement on my post. So you also don't have to post the stuff that happens in real time. But marketing, guys, is really the first step to recruiting, also in terms of how you market yourself in the car pickup line, or when you see someone at the grocery store, right? You're always living your brand.
Absolutely. So marketing is definitely a connection point. It's a connection point. It's not the end all be all. Your marketing is, you know, we're not about posting and praying and throwing a post up and hoping that people respond. It's just a piece of what we're doing here. And really at the end of the day, you know, marketing to your actual audience, you've got to take a step back and think about, okay, who is my audience? What is my audience made up of? And I'll give you guys an example from my personal growth through Plexus, is that when I started, I had just become a stay-at-home mom, and a lot of my friends were either career women or stay-at-home moms. We were in that life transition of just starting out with young children and trying to make it all work, whether that was in our jobs or outside of our jobs. So that was my network. I knew that I had a lot of college-educated friends. A lot of my friends had gone off either from high school to college, or I met at my college, and that's where the stage of life was for all of us. For others, it may be and I had a large network of people that were interested in healthy living too, because that had been a passion of mine for a very long time, long before Plexus. And so where you've got to kind of audit, what I love is that right here you'll see the leads you never knew you had sheet. It's in your virtual office, and it's a great way to map out your network. And the reason I think this is so important is putting pen to paper who is actually in your network. So it kind of makes you have this memory jogger. Frank's List works too. Friends, relatives, acquaintance, neighbors, kids connections is Frank's List. But that works as well. But the point of it is I want you guys to write down those names and then write off to the side of them, who are these people to you? How do you know them? What are they all about? Just a few keywords, right? And then that way you're kind of mapping out who your network is. Because I was a marketing major in college. If you are marketing to the masses, you're marketing to nobody. You've got to have a pointed message. You've got to be intentionally trying to connect with a certain group of people. And so if you have a very, very diverse network, try and find some commonalities between them, but don't try and recruit to, or market, I should say, to all of those people at the same time, because it's going to be a miss. Figure out who you're trying to connect with. Engage with those people on social media in particular. Go comment, go like, shoot them some message, relationship build, but then post stuff that they might be interested in. And my rule of thumb right now is 3 Plexus posts for every 7 days. I am not spamming my network with Plexus, Plexus, Plexus. I am posting a lot of dog photos. I'm posting a lot about my kids, a lot about, other things. Now, when things like a new product launch comes up, like Amy said, I'm going to delete some stuff after that's over, because I don't want a new person coming to look at my feed, like she said, and seeing me posting about this sale, all up and down my feed. So I'm going to keep some of those posts, but I'm going to delete most of them. So those social media audits become really, really handy. But so we have up there, stop with the plastic relationships. So it's really key. This business is all about connection, getting to know people. You guys get out from behind your computer screen, get to truly know people, put yourself in situations where you are attending book clubs, you're involved at your kids' school, you're going up to church, you're taking your kids to after school practice, you're working another job. I know, a bunch of you guys have actual 9-to-5 jobs. If you're a waitress like Tamsin, you go and you talk to the clients that are coming in. If you are, whatever that looks like to you, get out and try and spend a couple days out from behind your computer screen, because that's going to be what brings those actual more in-depth conversations. Schedule coffee dates with your friends. Don't talk Plexus on them. Just kind of get to know your friends, and that's going to be how you build this business, because it's all about those relationships. I talked about the marketing with a purpose, you guys, but I think that's really key, because if you are throwing up a bunch of information that is irrelevant to the people that are in your network, like you see some great posts from a good friend of yours that is a nutritionist, and she is talking all about the nutrition because that is where her joy lies and that's her passion. That's where, her network is super, super into the information from the that side of things, but your network could care less. They don't even know what GMO stands for, and they love red dye 40, right? Like they don't care. That's probably not the angle you want to take, right? I mean, I don't know anybody that loves red dye 40, but you know what I'm getting at there. Figure out a different way to connect with your audience and put Plexus in a light that fulfills their needs and provides a solution for them. So that marketing with a purpose is intentional, and it takes sitting down and putting some names to paper and kind of mapping out what your network is like. So here's a big thing too. When I am talking to people, I am working really, really hard to uncover what their motivating factors are. Is this somebody that is telling me that they really, really want to lose weight? But is there more than that behind it? Or is that just one aspect of what they're wanting? Are they also in a situation where they are struggling and drowning in debt? Do they know that their family has a history of diabetes and they don't realize the types of things that this might actually fulfill? So like, for instance, when I was talking to Amy over the phone, she was a stranger to me. I peppered her with questions, and I told her at the beginning part, I was like, hey girl, I'm sorry, I'm about to ask you a lot of questions, but I really want to get to know you so I know exactly how to recommend these products to you. So I was asking her everything, like, how's your job situation? I saw you post about that on social media. Let's talk about your health. What aspects are going on in your health? Let's talk about your eating. Let's talk about your coffee consumption. Let's talk about all those things. And I let her talk. And then I would jot down notes while I was having that conversation, something else to ask her. You become a master of asking questions. Number one, you're talking less, your prospect is talking more, and they're talking themselves in to trusting you. They're talking themselves in to wanting these products as well. And then you have your little list of notes and stuff that they've talked about, that you're able to say, hey, here's your solution with your own words. So Amy had talked to me about the issue she had with her thyroid and a lot of stuff that came as a result of that. And I said to her, I've got a lot of thyroid clients and friends, but tell me about your specific situation. And that way you're getting their words, not the words that you just happen to know about thyroid issues. You're getting their words that they're saying to you, and you're able to then say, okay, so you told me that your thyroid issue it's making you very, very tired. And it's, blah, 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 blah. This is the stage you're at with your particular autoimmune disease. And she is like, man, this girl knows her stuff. She cares. And, she wants to actually provide this information to me. And when I use her own words back with her, when I'm talking to her about triplex, when I'm talking to her about candida and what this is going to do for her over the course of time, she's sitting there going, okay, I see myself using these products. How can you not buy those products when they're providing a solution to an issue she just verbalized she had with me? Like, that's awkward. No, I don't want to help my thyroid, right? Like, that's an awkward conversation. So it puts it in their terms, in their court, and provides a solution in their life. But you have to become a master of asking questions, and you have to, I always preface the conversation with them of, this is why I'm about to ask you a lot of questions. It may feel like I'm kind of interviewing you, but I really want to get to know you, and I really want to make sure I'm providing the best possible Plexus experience for you. Not only that, so we talked about prospecting, and with prospecting comes reaching out. You guys, it is okay to reach out about Plexus. You don't want to be the girl who is looking at that list of 64 contacts that we just wrote down and is messaging every single one of those at once. That is absolutely not a good strategy, and not what I'm talking about here. But when you are at a point in a relationship with somebody where you're like, man, I really wish that Lisa would join my team. She's amazing. She's a brilliant marketing mind, blah, 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 blah. All these reasons in my head where I'm like, man, I really think that she would be a great addition to my team. When I get to those points with people and I know I'm in a solid space in the relationship with them, or at least have some sort of relationship with them, I'm probably going to reach out, or at least bring it up in conversation the next time that I see them. If I'm reaching out via social media, it's crazy simple, and I do not try and hide what I'm doing. There's no, hey girl, how you doing? How the kids doing? Like, none of that. I'm straight to the point, because it's just my personality, I would want that too. Like, I wouldn't want somebody to fake an interest in me and then hit me with the Plexus, like, over the course of one conversation, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to her. I'm just going to say, hey, Lisa, you've been on my mind like crazy. I really think you'd be amazing at Plexus. Have you ever thought about doing it? Just something super simple as that, and just straight away blunt. But that's like I said, that's my style. I don't know, Amy, if you have a little bit different style that you use when you reach out.
Well, yeah, it's similar. And oftentimes I have found when I actually lead with the business, it's much more authentic to me. I have a blurb and I've shared it before. I always do it as a voice message. And I'll say something like, hey girl, I was thinking of you today because I sat down and was trying to think of good business partners. And then I compliment them. I say, like, you're always so upbeat. People love you. You're pretty health conscious and you're very driven. You're somebody I would want to partner with. And it's probably something you don't even think is for you, but could I call you and tell you about it? And to me, that feels really good. I reach out to people like that all of the time. Now, 99% of the time, they come back and say, sure, I'll have a call. Not interested in the business. I'm interested in the products. Oftentimes they'll say, I've been meaning to reach out to you. So for me, that is one that I really, really feel good about. Now, when they say no, that's okay. Say, that's okay, no worries, because you're going to move on to the next one, right? You could say, that's okay, no worries. Hope the kids are good, or I'll see you next weekend, or whatever the context is of your relationship. The other thing, when you were talking, Sarah, about some blurbs, I had forgotten. They're actually still on my team page. I have, when I first started and I was talking to people about Plexus, because Sarah would say, like, it's like a conversation. I have a blurb that I kept in the notes on my phone. It's still there. And I would copy and paste it, but I would insert, like you said, Sarah, their verbiage of their own health issue. And so I treat it kind of like that back and forth conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's like she was saying, it's super key to not to disconnect from the outcome too, because what you're doing there is you're planting a seed. More than likely, the first time that you talk to somebody, they're not going to be like, why, yes, Sarah, I would love to join your Plexus team. Like, that's not realistic and that's not how it works. But it plants that seed. And then even if their knee jerk is to be like, no, but thanks for thinking about me, more than likely they're going to start looking at your posts. They're going to start paying a little bit more attention. And that's truly how I've gotten the conversation started with a lot of people, is talking to them and having those bold conversations. And I mentioned this on a call before. I've had a good friend of mine say, I'm kind of offended that you never actually reached out to me about Plexus. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't,
Mm-hmm.
why wouldn't I? So I think that's, did you want to add something? Sorry.
Well, we also have had those people that we didn't reach out to and they joined somebody else.
Yes.
And you kick yourself, right? And those people end up either loving the products or working the business or both. And I love one of the analogies I heard early on in my Plexus business that really just hit me well, and I've always remembered it. It's like a waitress at a restaurant. She offers every table coffee. And when the first table says no thank you, she doesn't cry and leave and quit her waitress job, right? She just moves on to the next table. And she still comes back around because eventually that table may want coffee or they may want a refill, but you just got to disconnect from it. And, you're still their friend. It's just like if you asked your friend to go out to lunch and they said no thanks. You'd be like, okay, catch you again another time, right?
Yep, absolutely. So we actually probably talked a lot about this slide in particular already. But like I said over and over again, it's solutions based. It's not sales based. And people they feel that sales. They feel when you are trying to sell them in something and convince them of something. So I have a lot of people try and say, like, how do you convince somebody they want to be healthy? Well, you don't. That's not their motivation. Maybe they don't want to be healthy. Maybe all they care about is the vanity aspect of it. Or maybe you still have to kind of build that education up over the course of time and they'll want it in the future. Or maybe they're about the finances now. But ask them, like, why are they talking to you? What is their motivation here? Why did they reach out? Or why are they continuing this conversation? Ask more questions, because the more questions you ask, the more you can get that information out. This also helps with the puking of Plexus. I am so guilty of this. When I first started, I was so excited about Plexus. Anytime somebody would ask me to explain Plexus, I literally sent them like this huge long thing, and I caught myself doing it, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Nobody wants to read through all of that. I don't even know what they're asking for. So for instance, when somebody says, hey, Sarah, what's Plexus? Or tell me about Plexus. I'll respond back with, what do you want to know? Like, it's just that simple. What do you want to know? Let them direct the conversation. Let them direct the information that they are after, so that you aren't providing them with way more information than they ever needed, because information overload leads to their brain saying, stop, I don't want to buy this. This is too much. I obviously have not done my research because I didn't even think about what she just said there, and she just brought it up. What else have I not thought about? So that's a huge thing. You just want to tailor the information to the actual information that they are asking for. So those motivations, a lot of motivations, you guys, I want you guys to think about the color personalities of network marketing. If you don't know what that is, it's a very like put somebody in the box way of looking at things, but it's also very visually helpful. So a red personality, for instance, is a driven personality that is very interested in the financial side. They are motivated by success. They're motivated by kind of more flash, by the money, by the perks of the job and the rewards, and probably just anything to do with the compensation plan, right? So that's one aspect of motivation. A yellow personality is one that wants to help others. They are driven by impact and wanting to help other people feel better, or whatever that looks like, right? And so they might look at things a little bit differently. A green personality is research driven. They're the ones that are like, hey, what's the sourcing on the bacteria strains in your probio 5, right? Like all of those in-depth research style questions. So the blue personality is motivated by fun, by social, by the recognition pieces, the travel pieces, that sort of thing. And so you can kind of use those as a very basic like box to kind of put somebody in as you are writing those notes when you're talking to them, and say, okay, she's asking a lot of questions about money. What's the motivation for her asking those questions about money? Does she want, like, is she money driven, or is she in a spot where she just is financially strapped and she literally needs to know how much these cost? So it's not a true driver for her necessarily. It's just a driver out of necessity right now, you know? So there's just a lot of questions that you can ask to kind of uncover the true motivation behind the person and what they want to purchase. The biggest thing that I can say to you guys is right there in the middle of the page. People don't care about information. They care about results and experiences. So everything that you're saying, frame it in, my friend Amy has a thyroid issue just like you, and let me tell you a little bit about her experience on it. Or, hey, you know what, in my experience, this is my story. And that transcends even into the marketing of what you're doing. But truly, when you're in there talking about this one-on-one to people, the stories that you tell, those are connection points. So drawing in other testimonies, Naomi's going to talk a little bit more about third-party tools and that kind of thing. But those stories, your personal experience is going to be the thing that says, okay, I'm into this. I want this. Your friend in Plexus, their personal experience in a three-way conversation, or even just a video that you share, anything like that, those stories and those results, that's going to be what sells it, not the FAQ or the information sheet. Those are just great like sidebar things, but just kind of keep that in mind over the course of when you're talking to somebody. How can you personalize it? How can you humanize this? How can you show them that connection with another human being that has had the results that they are after? And then within these conversations, always assuming the sale. And so what I mean by that, I always used to just leave it at that, like assume the sale. Everybody knows what that means, right? So what I mean by assuming the sale is that you use positive verbiage, positive confirmation as you're talking. So I'll say something to Amy like, oh girl, okay, yes, you told me about your thyroid issue. Let me tell you, when you start the triflex, you are going to feel this. And so, you know, you are putting it in their head like, I am starting this. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be ingesting these products. I'm going to be taking them. I'm going to my website. I'm going to sign up. Once you get started on this, once you hit click join on that website. I'm going to add you to our team pages, and man, you're going to love the community that we have built. So supportive, So all of those things, getting them thinking about, when I do Plexus, this is going to happen, that positivity and that kind of thing. So Amy, I'm going to kick it back over to you.
Okay, yeah, it's funny. When you were talking about that, I was thinking that another analogy that I love is that when you recommend a restaurant to somebody, they don't ask you for the chef's credentials, where the person was trained, where they buy their ingredients from, and what their latest health department rating was, right? So they're not thinking that about Plexus either at all. And I know that I have found for myself in terms of kind of recruiting that when I stop thinking all the time about Plexus, and I actually focus on being more social, everyone starts asking me about Plexus, right? So it's really weird because when I focus on either recruiting or, oh my goodness, I need these people, I need these numbers, when I focus on that, nothing happens. But when I focus on being more social, I really get people on their own bringing up Plexus. So a big piece of that, though, once you do start talking to someone about Plexus, are third-party tools. So what are they? Third-party tools, and I'm going to give you a list of them, but it's anything that brings validation, professionalism, and simplicity to our business, right? It's something that is plug and play, so you don't have to regurgitate all of this information, because listen, if somebody does ask you, well, tell me more about the triplex, and you send them a message that's this long, you have automatically modeled to them that this business is too hard and that they have to be an expert because they don't know any of that stuff. So already subconsciously they're thinking, I couldn't do that. So I'm gonna give you guys a list of these third-party tools, and for some of them that are my favorites and that help me with recruiting, I'm gonna talk about how I do them. But one thing to keep in mind, these are some great little self-reflection questions, right? If you are a great recruiter, but you have no business builders, then typically that means you talk too much and you're making it too hard. So people, you wanna use these third-party tools. If you're showing them that it's too hard, then they're not going to want to do it. So it really doesn't matter what you do that works. It's what duplicates. And so that's what third-party tools are so good at. And they're simple, and they make it easier for us, right? You don't have to regurgitate or keep all these notes in your phone when you know where these third-party tools are. So when we talk about videos, though, I want to make sure that you guys know that don't ever send a video as a third-party tool unless you've watched it. Just because I post a video and I'm like, this is great, I send it to all of my fence sitters, it applies to my fence sitters, right? You want to make sure it's the right video and the right message to send to your recipient. So videos are a great third-party tool. You can ask someone to review it and give you their opinion. That's awesome for skeptics and fence sitters. People love to give their opinion, right? I always recommend, though, that you keep videos at 3 minutes or less, whether it's one you made or it's a corporate video or it's a testimony. Videos are really good. Product videos. There's tons of product videos from corporate. There's also great videos on Plexus and certain health issues that we have. So many great videos that you could either send to someone and say, hey, this reminded me of you. So that could be how you reach out to someone. Or when you're in that conversation phase, if they do want more information, then you just send them a link. You don't have to regurgitate all that information, right? Now, there's also some non-video third-party tools that are really good. Some work better for others. So you really got to know your audience and really know your own personality style. So samples are a third-party tool. Samples are great. Now, I didn't build my business on samples. Now, though, that I'm in my next warm market and I'm building it, I'm using samples a lot more. So samples are a great third-party tool. If you use samples for recruiting, you have to have an if this but when clause. So if I give this sample to you, you will do this, right? And you have to make them kind of agree to that. You don't just want to be given samples, because we've even had people that are like, sample groupies where they've asked multiple people on our team for samples. So samples are a great third-party tool. Brochures and catalogs and those info sheets that are in the virtual office. I mean, if somebody wants to know about ProBio 5, I'll send them an info sheet or a video. Or if someone's like, well, I want to know about the ingredients, I'll send them an info sheet, or I'll send them the brochure. Everything we have is digital. Guys, everything you got in your welcome pack, if you joined it once the welcome packs were made nice and pretty, they're all electronic. You can send the product card, you could send you could send the compensation summary. All of that is electronic in the virtual office. You just send them a link. There's also other good shareables beyond the info sheet, right? There's the clinical studies. There's also comparisons. There is a great comparison that goes across Metaburn and Balance, Metaburn, and Accelerator, and all those. There's a great one about our vitamins. There's a great chart about the kids' vitamins. Like, all of those shareables are great. And then another huge third-party tool are testimonies. And there's two ways you can do that. You can send a testimony to someone, or you can add them to our testimony group and then tag them. But you can't just add and tag and hope. You need to add and tag and then send them a message, right? We can't assume that people see things with notifications, but it's also kind of impersonal just to like tag someone and then not send them a message. So those are really, really good. Another thing that's a great third-party tool are the events we have, whether it's a trial event or when we do the business events, when we do the Zooms. Those are all great third-party tools. So I love third-party tools. One of my favorites, guys, is three-way messages. You guys, if you've been on the team for a while, you've heard me talk about it. If you're new and you're not using them, I'm going to tell you, that's how I got almost to senior gold, okay? So when I first started Plexus, I knew nothing about anything, nada. I was clueless to probiotics. I didn't take supplements. I didn't take vitamins. I'd never done network marketing. I didn't know what I was doing. But the only saving grace I had, the only saving grace is that and I say this confidently, I was 110% coachable. I knew that Sarah Taylor was a Ruby, and I'd seen her paycheck, so she clearly knew what she was doing. I just did whatever she told me to do. And so when I made my Plexus post and somebody would message or comment and say, hey, send me more information, I would say, hey, I can't wait to send you more information. I'm adding my friend Sarah to this chat because she knows more about the products than I do, and I'm going to make sure I answer all your questions. And then she would just take over. That not only brings that third-party validation, I still use Sarah. You would think now that I've been doing this almost 5 years, people in my network I'd have influence with them, but I don't, especially people I'm close to, right? The people you're closest to don't listen to anything you have to say. Like, they don't want your advice about anything. So Sarah,
can I interject a little bit about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So there is this law of influence, and it's 2 levels removed from you. They need to have 2 degrees of separation from you for you to have influence over them, unless you just happen to be an expert at what you are talking about in that realm. The closer they are to you, the less likely they are to buy. So go ahead.
Right. Yeah, it's so true, because like your family's like, they're not listening to you, or even your best friend may be like, you're crazy, I'm not listening to you, right? But Sarah brought that validation. But the other thing it did, it's how I learned to talk about Plexus. It's how I learned to not puke Plexus. It's how I learned to make it a conversation. It's how I learned what language to use. It's how I learned how to answer those frequently asked questions, like how much is it? Or it's also how I learned to overcome objections. Like, I had a lot of people in the beginning that were like, I'm just going to eat healthy and work out. Well, because Sarah was in the 3-way chat, she had a response to that, and she overcame those objections. And in fact, a lot of my people that are on my team who've been with me from the beginning are my level 1s. They probably remember being in the 3-way chat with this complete stranger named Sarah Taylor. Because keep in mind, at this point, her and I hadn't even met. So don't be afraid of 3-way chats. It's a great third-party tool. Don't ever ask for permission, though, to do a 3-way chat, because if Sarah had asked me when she was talking on the phone, right, when she was prospecting me, if she had asked me, hey, can I put you in a message with someone? I'd been like, nope, nada, because they assume it's going to be a pressure sales tactic and they're going to gang up on the person. And that's not what it is at all. Sarah was just there to ask questions. You're not there to kind of gang up, right? Because really, doesn't make any difference to me when I'm in a three-way chat if that person orders or not. I'm gonna be able to say things to that person that you can't because you're too close to them, right? So I love third-party chats. It's my favorite third-party tool.
All right, so I just looked at the time. We're gonna wrap this up, but we're gonna have a Q&A that I'm gonna I'll stop the recording and we'll do a Q&A for everybody live on here. So just bear with us. We do that every Monday masterclass, but obviously I'm going to go through this really quick. We'll do a closing masterclass. We've got tons of videos on closing strong, but follow-up, it's all about follow-up. The more touches you have with somebody, and follow-up isn't necessarily like, hey, you ready to start Plexus again? It's just like reminding them of the relationship, just being present in your relationship with them once you present a Plexus. And sometimes it is, hey girl, we've got a sale going on. I would hate for you to miss out on this. Are you ready to get started? Just depends. But it usually takes about 7 to 12 follow-ups or touches for somebody to be like, all right, I'm ready to go. But asking them for the decision, saying, hey, are you ready? Do you have 10 minutes for us to get on the phone together? I'll walk you through the website right now and we'll get you signed up, easy peasy. And then the last thing is, don't be afraid when that price conversation comes up. It's logical. It's nothing to be scared of. It's nothing to shy away from. Now, if somebody asks you in the beginning for pricing, what you do is you say, I am so sorry, I don't even know what I'm recommending. We have a whole line of products, so we need to have a conversation first before I talk to you about pricing, because I would not know at all what to tell you. Now, if it's at the end, you got to tell them how much it's going to cost. And so what I usually like to do is if they're somebody I view as somebody that's going to sign up as an ambassador, I'll give them a $199 pack, a $99 pack, and then the preferred customer pricing. That really works well for me. If there's somebody that is a preferred customer, I'm going to give them the preferred customer pricing, but also the ambassador pricing. Unless I can tell they just need to be a preferred customer, then I'll give them retail and preferred. So if they come back and they say, hey, this is way too expensive. Oh my goodness, I had no idea. One, I usually remind them of, what they are after, the solutions that we're providing for them. But then two, I'll be like, no problem. Hey, tell me your budget. Let's pare this down, get you the most bang for your buck, and we'll work within your budget. A lot of times, guys, it's not the price. And so you'll uncover with that conversation, not just shutting down and saying, okay, it's too expensive for them, but when you actually come back at them and have that conversation and say, all right, let's work out a solution for you so that you can at least get started on something, then you'll kind of uncover the real hesitation. And so it's a really, really good and logical way. People think that, if I throw up a price objection, then it's just over. It's the most common untrue objection that we get. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm going to stop the share and stop. I haven't been able to follow the chat at all. I'm going to stop the recording too.